There were tons and tons of Young Living essential oils brought to all of you around the world in 2022. And we're going to make sure to break that number here in 2023. But today, we're going to recap some of your favorite products and some of the highlights from this past year. Everyone had a hand in the great year we had. And Young Living's success is your success. And we are happy to celebrate all of you today. Hello and welcome to Young Living's podcast, The Wild Drop. My name is Jacob Young, your host. Young Living is a world leader in producing and distributing premium essential oils, and this podcast will provide you with drops of information about Young Living, including stories, history, product information, lots of little fun facts, and even more. Prasad Gankanda is with us today. Welcome to the podcast, good sir.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here, Jacob.
All right, Prasad, it's been exactly a year, a little over a year since you were last on the podcast episode. And you're a numbers guy. You're a big numbers guy. And we're going to get into numbers again. But really quickly, you just came back from the Highland Flats harvest. And I want to hear how it was for you, how your experience was.
I was at my favorite farm. Now, I know you might tell me you haven't gone to Finca yet, but I'm going to go there this year. So I was at Highland Flats. I was there probably for a week, and we distilled, harvest, two of my favorites. One is the Evergreen Essence oil that everyone loves. I love this oil. And I think this is one of your favorites, Western Red Cedar.
It is.
Yeah, so a cool story about Western Red Cedar. This was, I think, when I was talking to Brett, he said, this is after 25 years they're distilling this product. Again.
Yep.
Yeah. So he was in his happy place, and it was so beautiful. Your dad would have been proud of me. I jumped in every single machinery and I was playing with it. I didn't do any damage, but it was so fun to be up there.
I love how you clarified that you didn't do any damage to any of the machines.
I didn't, and I'm sure there was a couple of videos around. But yeah, but check it out. This is for you. Look at that.
It's beautifully labeled. Thank you.
I put a little Jacob Young in it.
Thank you. Yes, it literally says on the bottle, Red Cedar, Jacob Young.
Right. So I have to clarify now. I know a lot of members might want this as a singles. The initial distillation we did, that was for a couple of blends that we're going to be doing. So
that will be coming out soonish.
Yeah. But yeah, try it out.
Oh, yes.
So I was flying back, and the entire plane was smelling like Western Red Cedar. And I loved it.
Oh, that is so... It's been a long time since I've smelled that. My mom had a bottle for a very long time, but we weren't allowed to use it. Just smell it.
True. I was actually FaceTiming your mom from the farms. And she's like, what? I did not know you're distilling Western Red Cedar. If that was the case, I would have been there. But anywho, like you say, we're back. We're going to be talking about how we did in 2022.
And you love to share numbers. You're a big numbers guy. You love statistics. And so I always think it's great to kind of look at last year, right? And you use last year to reflect, and then you use the following year or this year to improve upon whatever last year was. And last year was still a great year, great numbers. But now it's time to even do better than that.
Yeah, and I think there's so much fun behind the numbers, and I know you're going to be bringing Mr. Ben Riley soon on the podcast as well. There is for 2023, there is a line item where we call Measure What Matters, which we've been doing, and I know these numbers are going to make a lot of sense and fun for our members out there. Should we start?
Let's start.
Okay.
What you got on the list?
Well, I grabbed a couple of numbers that might make sense for our members. So let's start with, our global members around the world.
Okay.
We are covering 132 countries with our members.
Wow. That's a lot of countries.
Right. I know when your dad started in 1993, right? I wonder if he thought he's going to be in 100 and, if he's going to have members, in 132 countries.
He was a big visionary, so I have no doubt in my mind that he knew it would get this big, or at least had an idea that it might get big.
Right. Okay, so Jacob, just because we have members in 132 countries, that doesn't mean we ship to 132 countries. Like for an example, I'll take my own country for an example. Sri Lanka. And I know we ship to Sri Lanka, so that's a whole nother. You could have a member in Sri Lanka, but their shipping location might be US.
Yeah.
So last year, we shipped to 124 countries around the world.
That's still pretty amazing.
It
wow.
is, absolutely. So we're very close to 132,
Yeah.
right? And I have to say thank you to the entire supply chain team, because it's not easy tackling 124 countries around the world. Talk about the logistics that go behind.
Michelle Shin and her team has done an absolutely fantastic job. Everyone in the warehouse, supply chain, like you said, they've done an amazing job, especially during the Christmas rush and the holiday sales. Fantastic, amazing job.
Right. We talk about having right people in the right place. And I finally believe that we have the right people in the right place.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I couldn't be more proud. And in fact, I took my first vacation last December.
Yeah, that's right. You did.
Yeah, because of my team. I definitely sleep well because of my team. Let's see. So we also had about close to 2 million ordering members around the world that constantly order.
That's a lot.
Correct. Yeah, when I say constantly order, I'm talking about month to month, not the members that comes in and shops once a year, because retention matters to us. Yes. And I know we'll talk about retention a little later. Okay, here's a cool one. How many Young Living products do you think we sold?
Last year?
Right.
I mean, we have a lot of products.
We do have over 600 SKUs in the USA.
I know some are more of a favorite than others. Is this for US or world?
This would be for world.
For world?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think your mom would be happy if we only talk about US.
Okay, so if it's world, that means they probably don't have access to all 600 SKUs.
Right.
Man, that's hard. Like, these are all products?
Hey, you should be proud about this number.
Oh my goodness. I don't even...
Go high.
A million.
Times that by 50.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, we did about 50 million.
50 million total products
right,
sold.
Over 50 million.
Holy cow.
Look, it's 100% because of the amazing brand partners we have around the world. And they are carrying your dad's legacy.
That they are.
Taking Young Living essential oils into every home.
Well, I think we're doing something right if they're ordering that much product.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we'll talk about a little bit here. You know what that means every month, how many orders we ship?
No, I don't know month-wise.
Well,
I mean, if we've got 2 million members, and that was US, so that's 25 million.
Yeah, so I'll share this number. So we do about, average around the world, we do about 1 million orders per month.
1 million orders per month
and
around
the
world.
Correct. Some months it's right on about 1 million. Some months it's much, much, much higher, like the Black Friday months.
Yeah.
That averages up to about 33,000 orders a day.
Jeez.
So that keeps our
warehouse busy.
Warehouse very busy. All right, let's talk about some of the amazing products we have.
Yeah.
The top 10.
Top 10 sellers for last year. I'm curious to hear this, actually.
Well, everyone knows the very first one. That's lavender, obviously.
Yes.
Right. Such an amazing product. I don't know if you know this. My little one, Maya, she uses lavender every single night. And she loves it. And she also uses rose oil every single morning. So I'm so glad I work here. So I could keep buying.
It's expensive taste.
She does have an expensive taste. Okay, so I'll go through a couple of these really fast. So next in line, number 2, obviously Thieves.
Which product in general with Thieves?
So this would be the essential oil.
Oh, wow.
So 15 milliliter.
Wow.
And I know I've heard this story multiple times, but what was the whole branding Thieves behind?
So I don't remember the exact history. I think Karen Bourne and John Wetton and a few others have shared the actual thief story before. But when my dad was kind of doing research in Egypt, he came across some papers, and kind of like some history, some writing and stuff. And during the Black Plague, he had learned that there were people going and robbing people's graves.
Right.
And realized that the people that were robbing the graves weren't receiving the plague for some reason. So the townsfolk captured the grave robbers, and the city council got together, and they were all kind of there in the square. And, this might be a little morbid, but during that time, basically, they had a square for public hearings. We'll leave it at that. And anywho, so the city council said, hey, if you tell us how you're not getting sick or what you're using, we'll spare your lives. And so they said, well, it's a mixture of clove, lemon, cinnamon, eucalyptus, rosemary, and there was one other one. But our Thieves blend has almost all of those exact same ingredients. So it's clove, lemon, cinnamon bark, which is really hot.
You know where it's coming from? Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, right. And eucalyptus radiata specifically, and rosemary too. Their lives were not spared. But that's how the Thieves came to be, and that's why it's named Thieves, after the grave robbers.
That's awesome. It's been such an amazing product, a life-changing product for many.
Yeah, Chris Offer, who we had on the podcast, our first podcast of the year, he kind of shared why his family loves the Thieves product, that his whole kitchen is with Thieves products, so he doesn't have to worry about his kids getting into it or anything like that. So, and usually most, parents will have safety locks and stuff on their kitchen cabinets because of all the usual chemicals you'd find underneath the sink and whatnot. But he doesn't have to worry about that with Thieves. So just another great reason why Thieves is the best.
Yeah, and I love the smell.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So we got lavender for number 1.
Right.
Thieves essential oil for number 2.
And number 3.
I'm curious to hear what number 3 is.
Well, that's a fan favorite. Peppermint.
Ooh.
Everyone carries one.
Yes.
So peppermint is number 3. Then number 4 would be another Thieves product. That would be our household cleaner.
Fantastic. We use it every day.
Right. I do as well. And walking into a clean home is such an amazing feeling. And
that doesn't smell toxic either.
Right. And when it's clean with Thieves,
even better.
Even better.
Even better.
Okay. So then we got number 5, lemon.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a fun fact with lemon.
All right.
And I learned this from my mom. So down in Ecuador, you can buy movies really cheaply, like CD movies. The funniest part is most of them are
CDs.
Yeah, like CDs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my friends the other night because I grew up in an era, where I used cassette tapes.
Oh, cassette tapes. Yeah, VHS tapes.
Yeah, VHS tapes.
Goodness, Prasad, you're old.
I know. Because I grew up in Sri Lanka, so you got to understand, Sri Lanka was about a decade behind.
Yeah. We watched a lot of Disney movies on cassette tapes as well, VHS. But when we were living down in Ecuador, DVDs were kind of starting to become a trend down there. So Ecuador is also pretty far behind. But the reason why these movies were super cheap being sold in this DVD store that was inside the mall is because 80% of them were pirated. So the way that you'd watch the movie is the movie would be playing, but you could totally tell it was someone sitting with a little camera
and recording the whole thing.
But they were 50 cents for a DVD. And anywho, so my mom would label the DVDs and stuff. But sometimes we would wipe the DVD because they were super easy to wipe, and we would store other stuff on them, like family pictures and whatnot. And so my mom labeled them with Sharpie. But when it was time to unlabel them, she'd use lemon to get rid of the Sharpie. And it works so well. Another great thing that's really good for lemon, and we actually did this all the time when I was doing detailing as one of my businesses.
Okay.
We use lemon to remove sticker residue. So be a little bit careful with lemon, though, because you don't want it too much on paint. It can take paint away. But if you use just a tiny bit amount on a little bit of cloth and you just do circular motions, got to give it a little bit of elbow grease. It does remove sticker residue. It's also pretty good for stains, too. We used it a lot in detailing. We did a pretty good mixture. We usually did 80% water and then 20% Thieves mixture.
Right.
In a spray bottle. And that's what we did. So fun story about Thieves. Please go ahead.
Well,
Or lemon, I mean.
No, lemon. I love lemon. In fact, jade lemon is one of my favorites that I use with Zing. 2 drops of jade lemon in your Zing.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
Maybe a new Zing flavor?
Oh,
yeah.
That's
a good idea.
That'll be a good idea, yeah. Okay, number 6.
Yeah.
That's another Thieves product. And that would be the whitening toothpaste.
It is so good.
It is actually one of the best toothpastes out there.
I love it.
I use it literally every day, morning and night.
As you should. You should brush your teeth twice a day.
Twice a day, and I do that. Okay, number 7. That's Christmas Spirit.
Oh,
Such an amazing
fantastic.
smell.
What's amazing about Christmas Spirit is it's almost like a bestseller each month because it's such a year-round product, and so many people are diffusing it year-round.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites, especially during the holiday time.
Yeah. It puts you in the spirit, as the name suggests.
Yeah,
you know?
you have your Christmas tree during your Christmas time, diffusing Christmas spirit.
And you know what's also really good about, having a Christmas spirit is there's this really cool set developed by 2 wonderful people. It's called Simplified by Jacob and Kate. And right now there's this winter set going on that's available till February 31st. And it also puts you in that holiday mood because we're still kind of in the holidays, New Year. So we've got Candy Cane and Winter Spa. And I heard Pink Champagne's quite the hit right now.
And then you're coming up with
Spring.
Spring.
So spring will be March 1st. We'll be doing a podcast soon about that.
And then you're doing the starter kit.
We do have a starter kit coming for Simplified, and it's going to be unlike any other starter kit that exists because this will be a seasonal starter kit. So that means throughout the different seasons, you're going to have a different type of starter kit. So not each one will be the same, which I think is kind of cool. I think it's good to mix it up a little bit. And we also are including a few new products to the Simplified line, which I'm super excited about.
I love that. Love that. Okay, so number 8, another Thieves product.
Wow.
Laundry soap.
Oh, so good. We love the laundry soap.
Every home needs Thieves.
Yes, every home needs Thieves.
Okay, number 9, Ninja Red.
Can't go wrong with Ningxia.
No, not at all, not at all. It's in fact, Mark Bartlett. He did some amazing documentary about Ninja Red.
Really?
So yeah, if any of the members want to hear. And I'm sure maybe you can get that out.
I'll have to bring him on the podcast, yeah.
Oh, that'll be a good podcast, introducing Dr. Mark Bartlett.
We did a Ningxia episode last year with John Wetton, and it was actually a 2-parter. And the first one kind of covered the history of how Ningxia came to be a product. And then the second part was the science of Ningxia Red with Richard Carlson. And so if you haven't listened to that podcast episode already, please go back to it. There is some footage in there, some convention footage and Ningxia marketing footage that not a lot of people have seen before. It's kind of rare footage, and it's priceless. It's fantastic.
So was it Youngberry that was initially launched?
Yep.
2002, I believe?
Yes, 2002. So I think that one was Elixir of God's convention. I can't remember. It was the Egyptian theme one, I think, or maybe Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. I remember your dad doing one of the epic convention openings.
And that was Kelly's first convention, too.
Oh, was it?
She shared that story, yeah. So it was, I think, 2002 was Indiana Jones, and then I think 2003 was the Egyptian God one.
But I crack myself laughing every time I watch that.
So good.
Everything about your dad, it had to be grand.
Yes, big and grand.
Yeah, so. I love it. Okay, number 10, and we'll stop there. Life 9.
Really?
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, Life 9 is a fan favorite around the world.
It is.
So let's go to some fun facts talking about Ninja Red.
I love fun facts.
Yeah. So we had a total of about close to 125,000 members, brand new customers, ordering Ninja Red last year.
Wow.
Yeah, and it keeps getting better every single year. Every home should have Ninja Red.
I believe. And what's fantastic about Ningxia is it's such a perfect product to kind of get started on. It's a very easy introduction, right? I do a lot of car shows, and I love going to car shows and stuff. And people always see me carrying like a Zing around because car shows are early in the morning, and I need my morning Zing.
I'm a Zing addict too.
And everyone always asks me like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Well, let me tell you about this amazing product while you're here," because most of them are drinking a bunch of like these energy drinks and whatnot, and they have so much sugar and they have so many chemicals in them, and they're terrible for your liver. Absolutely terrible. And so one of my good friends, they actually own a car dealership, an exotic car dealership here in Utah, up in Draper, and they buy pallets of Zing now. I take pallets up to them. Well, not pallets, more like 12 boxes worth of Ningxia, and they love it. They love it. And they've completely cleared out their fridge of other stuff.
Good for them.
And they always text me. They're like, "Hey, our Zing supply's low. Can you come drop off some more?" So that's kind of been like my go-to like ditch and switch. Like, "Hey, let me show you something else that's really good for you."
You know, that reminds me. Okay, so going back to 2014-15 time, when I started at Young Living, I will admit I was a Red Bull addict. Here's a funny story about me. Well, look.
This is a great story. I know this story.
I did not know about Zing at that time. Obviously, my wife was working here.
Zing was also a bit newer then, too.
Correct. Yeah. So I walked into the old headquarters, with a can of Red Bull in my hand, like every morning. And then as soon as I walked in, I heard your dad's voice. And I'm like, oh boy, where is that coming from? And I knew it's coming from the 5th floor. And I was on the 1st floor. So I was like, you know what? Gary's going to take the elevator, so let me take the stairs up. So I started taking the stairs slowly up, and I go onto the very 5th floor. And I open the door. Guess who's right outside?
My dad.
Your dad. I was like, crap, what do I do? So I said, hi, Gary. And he goes, oh, you must be Prasad. This is like, I'm brand new, I'm starting, right? And he was so nice enough to give me a big hug and talk about my wife, Gaia. So the whole time, I'm hiding the Red Bull behind my back. So I was talking to him, and he goes, come on, let's walk down. And, we were walking down. He talked about his travels to Sri Lanka, and in fact, Blue Lotus being one of his favorite to harvest, up in the lakes. So we were talking, and we finally come down to the 1st floor, and I'm thinking, man, I'm nailing it. He hasn't seen it. So he gives me a big hug at the end, and he says, you know what, Prasad? We got a better drink, and it's called Zing. So, look, since that day, I've been a Zing addict, and I love it.
That's such a great story. I love that you shared that.
Okay, let's see. Oh, wow, this is a good one. We process so many oil from, whether it's coming from Young Living farms or our C2CL, certified supply farms.
Yeah.
We bring them into our Spanish Fork warehouse and we process them. How many tons of essential oil do you think we processed last year?
Well, it's definitely got to be more than 1 ton, because that's only 2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
And I know we go through that in like maybe a week.
Yeah. I'll help.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll help you out on this one. I think it's going to be so we processed about over 400 tons.
400 tons
of essential oil.
Holy cow! And that's just at the Spanish Fork warehouse.
Yes, so and you most of our essential oils are produced in Spanish Fork.
Yeah.
Right. We barely started our Croatia one. It has been running for the last year or two.
But it doesn't process as much oil as Spanish Fork does.
Right.
Because I know we had the Croatian one, so I was like, okay, well, if that's just Spanish Fork, then we could also maybe see what Croatia's doing, and it's going to be a little bit higher number, not too crazy high, but a little bit higher.
But the good part is because your dad had a dream for Croatia, and I knew, he saw Croatia as the hub for Europe.
Yeah.
And we are working through that. I was in Croatia meeting with Zoran and the team, looking at, what would it take to ramp up the operations to make it a true European hub.
I can't wait to go back. Croatia, till this day, has been one of my favorite trips of all time.
It absolutely is.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So let's before we jump into the heart of the organization, which is the foundation, let's talk a little bit about retention.
Yeah.
Retention is something that I'm mind blown at this company. You obviously have the loyalty rewards or essential rewards, depending on what country you are, but it is our loyalty program. If any of the members, if you are on loyalty rewards, retention is over 93% globally.
93%?
Yeah.
That is astonishing.
Right.
Because I think industry standard for retention
I don't
is
even,
much lower than that, right?
Absolutely. Like, Jacob, I've worked for many companies and I'm not seeing that high of a number.
Just shows our products are great.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, exactly. And, the kudos should go out to your dad, your mom, and the amazing R&D team and the product development team we have here.
Not only the products, but the community as well. And everyone who's listened to this podcast for a while now, that's one of the biggest things that I talk about is the community. We have the best community. Sorry, I'm a little biased about that, but it is what it is.
We do, and we love our hugs and we love our oils.
Yes, we do.
Okay, Jacob, and I know we are running out of time, right? So we'll be quick.
Well, we got to go down to the farm.
We do more now.
Yep.
So I talked about, just SKUs. When I say SKUs, these are finished good. Just in the US alone, we do have about 600. Okay.
Holy cow.
And just to give you perspective, to manage those SKUs. Now, a finished good product. Now let's take, your favorite Zing for an example, right? There's a lot of components that go into it.
Yeah.
Right. The can, the box,
the
label, right? If you take the 600, that's 20,000 components that we have to manage. Imagine the work that has to go to create these finished goods. So, we do have amazing products, but I also should say we have an amazing team behind the scenes that's doing a lot of work.
The whole team that we have in all of the YL organization is amazing. Our whole family is amazing because when you think about everything that goes into everything to give you a product that is in your hands currently, it is a very, very, very small piece of a gigantic million-piece puzzle.
I agree, and I love that coming from you. So I appreciate that. Okay, so rank advancements.
Yeah.
Let's quickly touch through that. We do about average 4,000 rank advancements every month.
Per month for
last year.
That is fantastic to hear. That's not an easy accomplishment.
No,
either.
not at all.
And it gets harder and harder and harder. Wow.
Right.
Kudos to all of you out there. Fantastic.
So, that's about 1,000 per week. So that's a lot of rank advancements.
That is a lot.
Yeah. Let's see. What are the other numbers that I want to quickly touch? Okay, so last year for Gary DeYoung Foundation.
Yes, I want to hear.
So we had about 150,000 customers and members donating.
Fantastic.
Yeah, to Gary DeYoung. That's who we are. That's our heart. That's how your dad, when he started the company, he wanted to give back.
Yes.
To these amazing kids around the world.
Yes.
So
that was always his biggest thing was he looked for where and who needed help most. And he always wanted to make sure that they were taken care of. And I think that was just amazing of him, that he always stopped, was willing to help, was wanting to help, no matter where we went. Every trip that we went on, when it came to an expedition or traveling, he always found people that he's like, these people need help, or I want to be able to help them. I want them to be able to have a better life, or whatever it may be. And it's just amazing to see, like, since I started doing my expeditions again, or starting them, just kind of going back and hearing the stories of my dad. Like, your dad has been so inspirational for us. We loved everything that your dad has done for us. Thank you for doing that. And I think it's amazing that my dad was just that type of person that he wanted to help. He wanted to help. So
and I'm sure you miss him every day.
I do. Everyone does. And I really kind of quickly want to share as well, like when it comes to the donation, don't think you have to put in much or do much. Like, when you take a little bit from a lot of different people, that adds up to a big, big number. And so just by helping out just a tiny little amount, whether, it's a few cents or a dollar, whatever it may be, that impacts a lot.
A dollar goes a long way.
A dollar does go a long ways, believe it or not.
So I know we've come to the end, and I want to share one thing. Jacob, like we said before, right? We ship to about 124 countries around the world, over 50 million units sold. But there's one that's behind the number one, and that's whether it's the corporate employees or the amazing brand partners out there. Without them, we would not be able to be who we are today.
That's the fantastic part about this is it's the best relationship when it comes to business is the best way to explain it. You have the brand partners, and without them, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing right now without all of you. Right?
I completely agree.
And at the same time, having our team here, our corporate team around the world, keeping the lights on, right? Running around the clock and, doing all that has to be done to get everything working so perfectly to have that product into your hands. It's a beautiful symbiotic relationship.
I love that word. Yes, I agree. And Jacob, thank you. Thank you for who you are. And, I watched you grow over the last couple of years, and you've inspired me a lot. So I appreciate you, and I love you a lot.
Thank you, buddy. Love you too. And thank you for all that you do. We're so happy to have you as part of the family. Now that you are also part of the American family,
That's
too,
right.
Congratulations. Prasad got his passport finally.
I did. Now I can go to Finca.
Now you can go to Finca. And we'll see if Highland Flats is still your favorite farm after that. All the farms are great, but I'm a little biased on Finca. So well, thank you so much.
Well,
Hope to have you again next year. Maybe sooner than that.
Absolutely. Would love to be here.
All right. We'll see you later.
All right. Take care.
Prasad Gankanda is a member of our executive team. Thank you for bringing some of these numbers to the podcast today, good sir. And thank you so much for tuning into this episode of The Wild Drop. Remember, you can listen on iTunes, Spotify, on YouTube, and of course, our website, www.youngliving.com. Don't forget to oil up Young Living family. This is Jacob Young, dropping out. Take care.